loud aeroplane. Someone going into Gatwick, yes, and they want to build another runway. Gosh, how are we supposed to do a podcast then? Hello, and welcome to Pottering with me, Tom Allen. And if you're joining me in your ears, or indeed if you're watching on the screen, thank you for joining me here in my garden. As ever, I like to make this a little moment of calm and serenity in your otherwise, I'm sure, very busy lives. And as you know, we've been with you since 2025, so we're coming up to our year anniversary. We're very proud of what we've created here. Whilst we're having another episode without a guest, you are my guest today in the garden, and the plants are also my guest, sort of. But they live here. Anyway, you get the metaphor. Thank you for joining me. I am talking to you in July, getting towards the end of July, the late afternoon, and the sun is out in that long shadowed way of the late July sun, and it's a rather lovely time to be here. Somebody's obviously just started sawing something, as they always do as soon as I try and record one of these. What is that work surface? When will it be? When will it ever be finished? We don't know. They must be sawn it so much. I'm surprised there's anything left. It's like living next door to a timber yard. Anyway, you might also hear the caw, caw, caw of is that a pigeon or an owl? I don't know. Oh, and guess what happened yesterday? We were sat out here with some friends and some pigeons started shagging. It was really unnerving to witness, especially when, we were just having some crisps and dips. And we turned around, and I'd seen them the day before getting a bit friendly, like lovebirds will, I suppose. Anyway, turned round, they're stacked on top of each other, like they were in some sort of IKEA storage unit. And there's one of them. No, it's not the same one. Or is it? But they were, I don't know what they were doing. It was, I didn't feel quite comfortable watching. Alfie went to film it, which I thought was actually a little bit, I'll say it, perverted. But he then the pigeon got off the other one, and the one that was left was quite ruffled. So we really did see something. So that's nature, though, isn't it? Sometimes it's utterly disgusting. In good news, I'm delighted to tell you that the vegetables are coming on apace. Just yesterday, we were able to enjoy some herbs. I did a spit roast chicken, as I'm sometimes wont to do, and we had basil for the salad. We had rosemary and thyme, not the series with Pam Ferris and Felicity Kendall. We had rosemary and thyme, and we also had chives, and we had sage to put in the chicken. So there's been a lot of yield so far. And I think it is coming to that point in the summer when you can start to enjoy things you may have been growing. And we are very proud of what we've done. There's some other things I think we probably left too late, and I'm trying not to beat myself up about that. Maybe we'll have Swiss chard before Christmas, maybe we won't. But come and have a look at where we're at. Well, you join me now in amongst the tomatoes and other things. Oh, is that pigeon? It's gone into that tree. I heard we were talking about it. It's disappeared itself into that tree out of embarrassment. The shagging pigeons. Look, they heard me. Having a whale of a time, aren't they? You join me here, as I say, in one of the growing areas we have. Now, these tomatoes, we've been very pleased with, and I've tried to be strict on the branches. A lot of you advised me before about how to how to sort of trim them back. I've had varying different reports on it. Some people say trim as much of the branches back as possible. Some say only do it below the fruit. Other people say trim the tops. Obviously, we're still doing the in-between bits, although I've missed a couple. The bits that grow between the stems there, to try and make the plant concentrate on its fruit. But I'm delighted to tell you that they've tumbled and they've tommed. There are some beautiful, almost red little tomatoes there, which I'm very, very excited about. And we did actually try a couple of them yesterday, and they were very, very nice. They tasted almost like a real tomato that you get from a supermarket. Bit of salt on top, look lovely. But they're very, very nice. We've got some bigger tomatoes down here, which we're very pleased about. They're still green, and I am mindful that you shouldn't overwater them for fear of splitting them. I think that's the risk, isn't it? That you give the plants so much water that it's like, yes, come on, tomatoes, have as much water as you want. And the fruit ends up getting overburdened with it and then exploding. But they are quite low down as well, so I'm hoping they don't get any kind of, some sort of, I don't know, some terrible disease, render them useless. But they are looking good. And somebody said to me, with tomatoes, they like it if you kind of ruffle them a bit. They like to have a bit of touch. I don't know if it's something to do with pollination or something, but it's good for them if you kind of brush past them and say hello to them. Don't know if that's something I imagined, or if it's something to do with pollination, or it's a load of nonsense. But there's something lovely about rubbing up against a tomato leaf. It's got that wonderful smell. Just reminds me of greenhouses when I was a child. But we're really pleased with how this has developed here, and we feel very proud of what we managed to achieve. I think it's a bit too bushy, but I'm reluctant to do anything too drastic when it seems to be quite happy as it is. But that's just two plants there. Alf, you got them from your mum, didn't you?
Yeah. They were mum's ones, yeah. She started them out from seed, didn't she?
They were just, from seed did she start them?
I'm sure she did, yeah.
They were just tiny when we got them. We watched them grow and grow, and we're really pleased. I know they should be a vine, so they should go higher and higher, but we've kind of run out of space there. So we're proud, very proud. Actually told a little lie to you earlier and said we haven't got a guest, but actually we do. It's Mr. Runner Bean Plant. We had no luck with our runner beans. We collected beans from last year, from the pods, when they'd gone to seed, and then we planted them this year, hoping we'd get some runner bean plants. Nothing came, nothing germinated, it wouldn't have it. And then, Alf, you got one, didn't you, from the back of the cupboard, and thought we'll give it one last try. And we did. And within about 10 minutes, it had grown all the way up here. It's going all the way up this climbing frame. And I think this could be something quite exciting. And I do think runner beans have a lovely flower on them, which is always nice, even if you don't like runner beans, which can be a bit watery. But I think they've got a lovely flower on them, which sort of reminds me of summer. Also, that's some basil. And I planted it out, and I thought, oh no, I haven't watered it. But look, it's surviving very nicely. Here, we've got potatoes we've been growing in pots, and they've been quite happy there, actually. And we've been really pleased with the foliage, voluptuous foliage. It's a loud aeroplane. Voluptuous foliage, someone going into Gatwick, yes, and they want to build another runway. Gosh, how are we supposed to do a podcast then? We're doing potatoes here, and the pots, I think, are full of potatoes. The plants have been going very well. I'm not seeing that yellowing yet, though, which I'm told is the sign that they are ready to be dug up. So for now, we're leaving them as is. And I think they're not earlies; they're lates. So they're later in the season. But I think it'll be great. Also, we thought we had an errant tomato plant growing in amongst the potatoes. I thought, that's strange. It must have just blown across or something, or maybe it's something from a previous year. No, it's not. It's the potato fruit. Alf looked up, and it's poisonous. Do not eat it. So we're glad of the internet, actually. Sometimes it's useful, isn't it? I guess that's a sign that they're doing all right. We picked them off because, again, we wanted the plant, a bit like with the tomatoes, we wanted the plant to concentrate on its potatoes rather than its fruit things. So we throw those over there. Oh, and just in front here, I have a little hydrangea. My friend Sarah gave me a little cutting of, and I've been keeping it alive on the windowsill since last winter, and I thought, I better pot it up a bit into a bigger pot. So I did that at the weekend. I'm hoping I haven't mistimed it. Because I do think with plants, sometimes they can be quite precocious about when they're moved. And they're very dramatic, because they just go, oh, I don't like it here, I'll just die. They don't sort of have a halfway point. But anyway, so I'm hoping that will come to something lovely, though. Then it's, so far, so good. It seems to be still green and happy, so fingers crossed. Another thing I've inevitably left too late is the Swiss chard. I planted it in tiny little pots to see if anything would come of it, and it did. And I potted it up a couple of weeks ago. There's a few bits that are looking quite happy, a few bits that are sort of drowned in the water whenever I've watered them. But these stronger ones look like they're coming to something. So I'm hoping there'll be something a bit more substantial coming up soon. Because they've got the beautiful colour. I love that pink of their stalk, that really bright pink and then that lovely vibrant green. I think pink and green, wasn't that something to do with Wicked?
Yeah, or pink and green should never be seen.
Pink and green should never be seen. Is that what they say in Wicked?
Yeah, wasn't that the famous thing about unless it's on the Queen?
Blue and green.
Oh, was that blue and green?
Blue and green.
But pink and green is the main characters from Wicked.
Isn't that pink and green go well together? Is that what they say?
Pink goes good with green.
Pink goes good with green.
I think.
I'm holding spades. I'm holding Swiss chard for you.
Good luck finding some Swiss chard. Oh.
Good luck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're hoping that comes to something one day. But you just never know, because some things, like the sunflowers we've got, planted those thinking, oh, nothing will come of them, we'll just plant them all in. Oh, they're all absolutely thriving. Chard, forget it. Then Mangelwurzel, hang on, I'll show you this. Hang on, I'm going to get it for you. This here is Mangelwurzel, and this is like a beetroot, I think. It's got quite a sort of ugly root, which is sort of beautiful in its way. And so I've been growing that, and that's having the time of its life. Swiss chard, which we can actually use, no way. Mangelwurzel for days. Many of you might remember Henry Agg, wonderful gardener, brilliant book, brought us this pelargonium, which at the time was pretty substantial. But look at it here. Look, I can see several bees just having the time of their life in there. It's absolutely huge. And it's one of those pelargoniums. I mean, I love pelargoniums, and I think they're sort of underrated. We talk a lot about geraniums, but pelargoniums, which are sort of the same family, I think. And a lot of the time when we talk about geraniums, we're actually talking about pelargoniums. But pelargoniums often have this lovely smell. This one's got sort of herbaceous sweetness to it. But they often are quite herby, quite earthy, really beautiful smells. And here it seems to be quite happily flowering as well. So it goes to show that the gifts we are given by our guests on Pottering, we do always enjoy. Where did that wind come from? Oh. And, as well, Philippa Perry brought us some lovely daisies, and they're doing really rather well too. Alf bought me some dahlias, and I naively planted them here in the earth, and they got absolutely munched by the slugs. So I decided to apply the copper tape rule. Often on pots we'll put copper tape round, because apparently the slugs won't go across that, they don't like that. But obviously this one was in the ground, and I thought, well, what should I do? So I put the copper tape on, sort of balanced it around it, and actually, foliage-wise, maybe not flowering-wise, but foliage-wise, this dahlia is looking a lot healthier. So I'm really pleased with that. That flower's dead. But really pleased with how that's come along. Just to show a little trick like that can actually be quite beneficial. I think metal, slugs don't seem to like at all. If you've got like any kind of metal pot you can put things in, I get the sense they don't like that. So that may help you if you're being attacked by slugs. The beloved white hydrangeas we have in the garden had a bit of a time of it during the summer, because when the heavy rain came, they went from being hello to suddenly being like, oh no. They were all sort of bent over double, flopped out on the floor, rather like me after a bottle of wine or two. So we've got these stands made, and I will give a shout out to the man who welded them. He did them so beautifully, but it did mean that we ended up lifting up all the hydrangeas into these stands to help protect them. But it meant we suddenly had all this space to fill. So more pelargoniums. These ones are a slightly more woody, herby smell. They, in pots, ended up getting shoved there just to sort of pad out the beds a bit more. But this in between is, I believe, a traditional geranium. It's got a purple flower, bluish purple flower, and it gives lots of great ground cover and also lots of flower throughout the season, actually. I think geraniums and pelargoniums, probably my favourite. The thing about some plants, though, is they won't do as they're told. A buddleia has planted itself here at the back of the trampoline. I think it is very beautiful. A buddleia is kind of your kind of archetypal weed in a sense, isn't it? Because you often see them growing by railways, and they'll grow anywhere. But I do think they're very beautiful, and I love that purpley long flower they have. The trouble is with this one, it's not growing in the direction I want it to, because I don't want it to grow sideways in front of my olive tree and in front of that spiky one. So I've tried to prop it up with a bamboo stick, but it's not worked. That's the thing, isn't it, with gardens, that they won't do as they're told. We have to remember we can only guide. We just have to do our best and coerce as best we can. And last thing I wanted to show you on this little gardening tour is a follow-up to the video I did about the Cavolo Nero. As I said at the time, Cavolo Nero have so much promise. You see them in gardens, they blooms of green. Cabbage white came for ours, little butterfly laying its eggs. So I thought I'm going to put it in this cloche and keep it safe from those cabbage white. Didn't realise the caterpillars hatched inside the cloche and they ate away quite happily in their own little greenhouse. However, I didn't give up. And I'm delighted to say, actually, we've got a little bit of Cavolo Nero happening here. So I'm quite pleased with that, truth be told. There's hope yet. There's always hope in the garden. No, no, what are you doing there? I don't want you there. No, go. I don't want to kill you. I just want you to leave. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't like killing bugs, you see. One thing I did also try with the Cavolo Nero is I sprinkled some coffee grounds in, because apparently they like a nitrate, high nitrogen feed, and a good way to do that is with coffee grounds that I sprinkled on top, not too much, and then watered in, hoping that may have made a difference. I don't know if that's just a coincidence, but it seems to have helped a little bit. There will be growth in the spring. There is hope yet to come. That's a quote from my favourite film, by the way, Being There, with Peter Sellers. Have you seen it? Oh, it's lovely. It's about a man who has been a gardener his whole life and has never seen the outside world, and then he gets thrown out of the garden and has to go and live in the real world. And one of his sayings is, there will be growth in the spring. Shirley MacLaine, Peter Sellers. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It explains a lot about me. Same director also made Harold and Maude. Watch that. Explains a lot about me. Lovely, lovely soundtrack. That's not what we're here to discuss. We're coming to the end of this now. Before we go, thank you again for being part of this journey with me. As ever, you can really help out if you hit subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, just hit subscribe. It just means that we can keep doing the podcast and we can keep bringing you this little bit of serenity in your day. Similarly, whatever platform you're on, please do subscribe. And if you can, just hit 5 stars and even write a comment, say how much you like it. It warms my heart immeasurably when I hear such nice things. So thank you very much if you have done that already. Anyway, that's all from me for this week's pottering. Next week I will have a guest with me and I can't wait for you to see them. Thank you again for being part of the journey. Do hit subscribe. Do enjoy your garden in whatever form it takes, and enjoy some nature in however you can. And I hope that you are feeling uplifted, calmed, and serene after this week's little catch-up. Thank you, and is that all I've got to say, Alf? Yeah. Okay, bye.